Okay, so, hang on one second. All right. Let's do roll call. Maureen Jimenez,
Here.
Ann Morkulis,
Here.
Angela Ramo,
Here.
Lynn James,
Here.
Megan Levine.
Here.
Leah Leone is not here tonight. She had an injury of her ankle, and she's very sad that she can't be here, but she's unfortunately not able to drive even, so we hope she has a speedy recovery. I'm here, so that's 6 of us, and we have the minutes from September. Oh, I'm so sorry. I totally ignored the student member. Yeah, welcome to our new student member.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tonight is the first appearance of the first student member of the Board of Education of the Glen Coast City School District. And we'll formally introduce Aiden Martone, who is actually a great student, and in his spare time, he's quarterback for our football team. So, glad to have you aboard.
Okay, so I guess we're going to be hearing from him later,
Yes.
right? Okay, great. So the minutes of September 14th, could I get a motion? Angela and Ann, any discussion or questions on those? We good? Okay, all in favor? Okay, 6? Okay, and then committee reports we have tonight. So first up, we have audit committee.
Okay, so the external auditors would like to meet with the audit committee, and I believe the audit committee gave me a date of October 7th at 4:15. It'll be a Zoom meeting with the external auditor, and they would discuss the financials and the closing of the books and all that. And then the auditors will also be presenting their findings to the community. I believe they're trying to meet the October 26th meeting, that they will be here in person and give the community an overview of the financial status of the district.
Thank you. Next is policy committee. I don't think there's been a meeting yet, but do you guys have a date set, or do you want to discuss a date?
No.
No? Not sure. Go ahead, Megan.
No, well, I think the policy committee members it's a new committee this year, and so we just circulate some dates to start looking at whatever we want to look at this year.
Okay. And are you going to head that, or is it going to be Alexa?
Alexa's going to do that.
Great. Okay. So we'll look forward to hearing about that. And then we have facilities report from Victor.
Okay, so I don't have a building-by-building facilities report for September, but a few things. I know we were addressing a lot of tree issues throughout the district, so we had some trees trimmed and cut down. 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, there was that torrential rain, which caused some flooding again at Landing School, not as bad as Storm Ida, but in the same areas. So again, that had to be addressed. At Thayer House, we did have a leak in our basement. One of our pipes wasn't major. That was addressed. Victor, our facilities director, is working with our security company to do upgrades on all the building security systems. We had our first district-wide safety meeting today, which was very productive. And as far as FEMA, Storm Ida, I was told today by our FEMA rep, maybe another month before he gets everything into the portal and sends that off to the next level for approval. So that would be good. And we are still working on doing some mitigation through FEMA. And again, that involves a lot of time. Victor's time walking around the district all the time with engineers and whatever. And I do know that Victor also had people looking at the parking area at Connolly School, and we're going to try to address that as you know, in some way to make it better than it is now. And I don't have all the information on that, so I don't want to say exactly what they're thinking of doing. But we may be able to do that within the budget, so that would be great. But next month I'll have a building-by-building report as far as facilities. Thank you.
Victoria, we're not talking about a new parking lot. We're just talking
No.
about rectifying
Yes.
what is commonly known as Lake Connolly,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, correct.
All right.
I just have one question for you, Victoria. For the FEMA money, I know we had talked about having the video archive covered for the, resuscitation of that collection. Did you know if those numbers?
That's not through FEMA, that's through our insurance company.
That was covered through insurance? Okay.
Yes.
But is that in the works?
I
or-
believe so.
Okay. Great. Thanks. Any other questions for Victoria? Okay. So now we'll move on to the superintendent's report.
Okay, so we have a two rather interesting presentations. I'm going to begin. If you notice, we have our website behind us, and we're going to, whenever we refer to anything on our website or in our district, we have Lisa Viskovich, who is our new webmaster, and she will help to navigate through. So please watch as I speak. She'll be playing with the website and going to different pages. One of the things that we did put together, and I did want to speak about, is under our Find It Fast, we have a new page on our facilities, for our facilities department. Okay. So just so that we can keep the community updated, we have not only, I can't stop by turning around, but I shouldn't have to do that. So I'm going to keep my faith in Lisa, and she'll let me know if I'm doing something wrong. But we have the construction projects, the capital projects, and the maintenance projects that have been done over the years, so that you have an understanding of what has been done either through grant money or through different foundations, as well as through the actual budget process and what's called capital outlay. So if you would like to see just what has been done over the last, I would say, 6-7 years, please go onto our website, as that has been posted. Also, if you return to the website on any one day and feel like going to that page again, any new updates in regard to facilities and projects will be indicated. If you remember, there is an EPC, Energy Performance Contract, and for that, we have actually listed a timeline that is more visual, so that you have an understanding of just where we are in the process. As things may change, that will be updated as well. Okay? Good? All right. I passed that test. Okay. I actually have to apologize, because as I was introducing our student member, mea culpa, because he and I had a great meeting and we spoke a couple of times. It's Aiden Costello, not Aiden Martone. We do have a student named Aiden Martone. He's a good guy too. So Aiden, my apologies. Okay. All right. And at this point, I would like to begin the presentation on our district goals. Okay, so each year, the board reviews previous year's goals. Could you just show just the PowerPoint? Okay. Okay. And builds upon the ones that we've accomplished by setting new goals for the 2022-23 school year. These have been as a result of conversations that board members have had with community members, with each other, with conversations that we've had at district office, and conversations with our administrators who have had conversations with their staff at faculty meetings. Okay. Okay. Sorry. Is this a slide in? Yeah, just slide in. Click. Keep clicking. Okay. So, Goal 1 is under curriculum and instruction, and it speaks to academic excellence. We want to plan and provide rigorous curricular resources for our students and teachers in order to cultivate a passion for learning by promoting inquiry, innovation, and critical thinking of all our students, pre-K through 12. Our instructional program supports various educational and social emotional needs of all our students in an equitable, inclusive, and safe learning environment. This is going to be measured with comparative data to include but not limited to attendance. We want to stress that students be in school on a daily basis so that there is consistency in the instruction that they receive. Assessments, inclusive but not limited to many of the assessments at different grade levels that help to inform a teacher as to where that student in particular is, as well as how we assess our district as a whole. Credit accumulation. Analyze data on credit accumulation at the middle and high school levels to increase student achievement. Graduation rates, and that includes a complete profile of all diploma types, college applications and admissions, college enrollment data, and obviously a survey at the end of year. In the past, I've been able to survey the students in person. We get an eclectic group. Where's Mr. Hudson there? He's always helped me to put a group together to say, how well did we do in your experience in Glen Cove schools, and how can we better provide for the students as a whole? We actually invite those students back the year after they graduate. So right before Thanksgiving, we have a group of seniors that are giving us feedback. I have to say, they provide such mature and informed answers and really have helped us to substantiate some of the things that we saw that we wanted to improve. And then we ask them back a year after they leave our school, whether it be college or career, they come back and they give us some feedback. How well did we do to prepare you for college and career? What else could we have done? And this goes on and on. We are actually thinking of, we are actually going to be sending out a survey to all seniors towards the end of the year to help gain that feedback from a number of voices. Also, we want to expand learning opportunities across the district to create enriching activities to support classroom-based instructions. Some opportunities allow students to develop core social competencies such as self-efficacy that contribute to success in both academic and post-secondary pursuits. So we're going to continue to establish honor societies in all of the academic areas as well as the fine arts area, inclusive of middle and high school level opportunities. Increase student achievement for all students enrolled in advanced placement and dual enrollment courses. Explore enhanced course offerings and choices across all areas within the newly established 9-period day at the middle school level, inclusive of such considerations as world languages, engineering, and etc. Aiden is giving me the thumbs up on these things, so thank you. Explore additional technology resources and applications to enhance our instructional program and to ensure digital equity for all students, and continue to use technology to engage and support student learning. Actually, they're giving me more lessons than anybody's giving them. Students seem to have an app for technology that goes beyond anything we could have ever imagined. So we would like to take that enthusiasm and, again, explore opportunities for them to utilize it. The last one's in yellow here. Continue to explore and participate in competitive opportunities in order to enhance students' skills and experiences across the curriculum areas. And we've done many of these things over the years, but we want to expand those opportunities. To have students working with other students in other opportunities, from other school districts, give them a sense of what the world is like outside of Glen Cove. And it seems that that has provided for opportunities for us as well. We'd like to continue to explore those. We're going to go back to that one in a little while because I think we're going to give examples with one of our coordinators that's here today. As far as social emotional growth, to continue to focus on students' fundamental social and emotional skills based on the knowledge that such skills are key to children's self-awareness, learning, perseverance, and ability to collaborate. And the focus on the social emotional will target the specific efforts and effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Continue to improve school-wide norms across the district that will result in a reduction of absences, course failures, disciplinary consequences, but also enhance the implementation of positive behavioral interventions that increase student wellness. In order for all of this to happen, our teachers have to be engaged in their own professional development. So we would like to continue to provide our teachers and support staff with professional development opportunities that result in the delivery of innovative curriculum aligned to the next generation learning standards to enhance student learning. Continue to provide current and relevant professional development and resources to our highly qualified staff in order to consistently promote engagement of all our diverse learners to meet their needs, both academically and social-emotionally. Continue to support teachers and staff to remain informed of users of technology, utilizing various learning modalities to create a positive classroom learning climate and to optimize student achievement. And create a district-wide new teacher academy to support teachers new to their craft as well as new to the district and promote best practices. Our goals also focus on the business and finance, the transparency and accountability of our district. We want to create a fiscally responsible budget for the 23-24 school year as we continue to be financially accountable and educationally responsive. And this is measured, obviously, by passing a fiscally responsible budget for the 23-24 school year in the spring of 23, mindful of the community, accountable in all areas of spending and meeting the needs of our students. We're maintaining reserves for use during the budget process to offset expenses, avoid elimination of programs and staff, as well as work towards the enhancement of our instructional spaces. And explore additional funding streams to include grant writing, foundation aid support, additional FEMA opportunities, as well as cultivating donors. Based on the identified needs of the district's facilities during the current and former bond discussions and processes, as well as the pandemic crisis, Prioritize and secure essential capital projects and repairs within our school buildings to create a safe, secure, environmentally friendly learning environment while maintaining fiscal, health, and safety obligations to our students and our community. Secure, and we've done this over the years, but we need to continue to secure alternative funding sources to decrease the fiscal impact, such as, but not limited to, grant opportunities, donations, and alternative funding projects. Create a new 5-year building facilities improvement plan that is updated annually and that secures the completion of identified concerns as it relates to the educational landscape of our students. This plan will be on the district's website for all community members to review. Create a facilities project status page on our website to provide ongoing, updated information to the community in regard to capital projects projected and improved within the district. And as you will hear tonight, present a bond before the public that is mindful of financial impact while providing safe, renovated educational spaces that are reflective and supportive of our instructional programs. Glen Cove City School District will ensure the highest quality faculty are hired and retained in our district, as well as promote positive labor relations. This is measured by the review of the hiring process to ensure the retention of highly qualified personnel, provide an enhanced support system to all employees that leads to increased student outcomes, and ensuring ongoing curriculum communication and collective problem solving, leading to enhanced trust and collaboration between all staff. This is specific to our Department of Human Resources. Oh, okay, there we go. We want to facilitate proactive communication with members of the community to inform them of district initiatives and events, and promote and showcase the ongoing opportunities and accomplishments of our students as well as our staff. So with an understanding that misinformation circulating in the community has hurt the district's attempt to renovate and update facilities, there's an S missing, my apologies. The district will further enhance communication efforts by utilizing district newsletters, website, and other forms of media to provide for ongoing updates and accurate, clear information regarding capital projects to the Glen Cove community. We're going to leverage print, digital, and social media, as well as interpersonal information in order to continue and enhance effective interactions within the community, expand our community partnerships to provide additional program opportunities for our students, explore fundraising efforts, and build upon established community ties for expanded school success. And then, obviously, to increase the recognition of our students and staff. They work very, very hard, and they are outstanding. There is not one opportunity outside this district that our students haven't come back. I'm going to tell you in the top 2, not the top 3. So we want to continue, a little pressure on my administrators here, sorry. But you know what? Our children have never let us down. We need to ensure that they continue to have these types of opportunities. Okay. Okay, could you wait on that and just put that other presentation up? So as I was talking about these opportunities, some people are saying, well, what opportunities are we talking about? Okay? It's important for our students to take what they're learning in our schools and be able to showcase their skills out in the world. So one day, an organizer of a linguistics competition and I were talking, and she said, well, yeah, I guess Glen Cove could be a part of the program, but you have to understand, Maria, we have kids here that have been working on this and training for about 1.5 years. If your students come on board, it'll only be 3 or 4 months at the most. I said, well, It's an opportunity. They can start training for the following year, but I'd like to give our students that opportunity. So we had 2 students interested. They came back first and second. Okay? We have we have participated in the Northwell Sparks Challenge with anywhere from 700 to 900 other students yearly, and our students have come back first and second in their competitions, okay? That shows that, again, with the work of our teacher facilitators, the support is always there. We'd like to enhance those opportunities for students with other interests. So in that manner, I'm going to introduce our new coordinator for fine arts, Mr. Lawrence Nadal. And he's going to just take a moment, if you can be patient with us, to show how he has already begun to work with faculty to be able to provide some opportunities in the fine arts.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. I wanted to take some time to give you a little sneak peek at some of the interesting and wonderful initiatives we are beginning to work on with our Department of Fine and Performing Arts for our wonderful students here at Glen Cove. The first initiative that we're working on, an opportunity, is part of the first annual East Coast High School Improvisational Games. This is an initiative where there's improvisational comedy and theater at its finest. We will be part of the first annual East Coast High School Improvisational Games. We have been invited to participate as the first school district all across Long Island to start this initiative. And I am working with our friends at Asylum NYC in Manhattan in the theater district, as well as our friends at the New York City Department of Education, school districts across Nassau County, Long Island, as well as the Boston Public Schools as well, where students will be competing in improvisational comedy. Students will be selected to compete on a team. We will have a Glen Cove High School team, which will spearhead this initiative, and they will also be working they'll be competing against other schools in Nassau County. We already have Oyster Bay as well in this competition, but we're spearheading it. We were chosen to outreach to the other school districts on Long Island and get it started here in Glen Cove. And the winners of the Nassau County division will compete against the New York City division as well as the Boston division. The winners will also be performing on Broadway in Manhattan, their own set if they win the competition. So, front row seats. Why improvisational games? These are a couple of common outcomes as to why we do improvisational comedy and theater in terms of the discipline in the fine and performing arts. In terms of Initiative 2, we're looking at arts and culture in fine and performing arts. We've put together a bunch of heritage months and arts recognition days across the district with a fine donation from the Education Foundation. They are supporting us in every single month, for the most part, to go from building to building and actually explore dance as a performing art. So, in September, we will be at Connolly, well, actually going into October, because Hispanic Heritage Month is September 15th to October 15th. We will be at Connolly and Landing, October 3rd and 4th, where our friends at American Street Dance Theater Company will be coming in to work with all students in those buildings to learn the history and the dance of salsa, cha-cha, bachata, and merengue. So they will be working there. In October for Italian Heritage Month, we will be at the Daisy Building, October 21st, where our friends at American Street Dance and Theater Company will be teaching the students how to do the tarantella. And so far we have booked in January, today actually, we just booked with Miss Santoro today at Ribbon School, a Chinese ribbon and or fan dancing for the Lunar New Year, which will be on around January 23rd. We'll be figuring out the middle school and high school initiatives in terms of fine and performing arts with different heritage days as soon as possible. So why multicultural dance and arts? Here are a couple of outcomes that we have explored in the past. I've worked with American Street Dance Theater Company for over 15 years, and here are some of the outcomes that they have provided based on their programming. Initiative 3, Arts Connection. We have been developing partnerships with several arts organizations inside and outside of Glen Cove. One of the fine programs that we have been working with, or actually partnerships, is with Arts Connection. Arts Connection is an established arts organization where they offer free in-person, virtual, and submission-based projects for students all across New York State. So one of the things that we're working on is gathering students to do an in-person track, which is a teen reviewers and critics program in each of the disciplines where they get to view various museums, Broadway performances, dance performances, as well as music concerts and film and television opportunities. They also host in person in New York City a pizza and a movie night where students are going to be encouraged, if they're interested, to go and gather to study film and also have some pizza. All these programs are free as well, like I said. Virtually, we have been offered skill building residencies as well as drop-in residencies for online workshops for students after school, and they would work with professional theater and teaching artists in the industry across all art forms, art, music, theater, dance, and film, as well as submissions where our visual artists are allowed to give various artworks, and if they do win based on their piece, they will be given a $100 gift card for their submission. We're allowed unlimited submissions because of our partnership with Arts Connection, so any of our students across the district can submit at any time. And why Arts Connection? Here are some of the outcomes and some of the things that they think about in terms of their organization and what they can contribute to Glen Cove. And last but not least is Initiative 4. I think it's very important for us to form relationships with colleges and universities in the arts, and one of the things that we're working on is an initiative with Five Towns College. So Five Towns College has invited us, our friends over there have invited us on Thursday, November 17th at Five Towns College to gather a group of students from our high school to see Sister Act, the musical. Are also providing us with lunch and a tour of the college campus. All of this is complimentary. All of this is free from the college campus. Also, our friend David Krasner, who is the chair of the theater department at Five Towns College, will be coming to our Maskers Club and be working on a master class in acting for our students. This will hopefully begin the partnership between us and the college, and will also allow for us to hopefully have some interesting goals in the future in terms of college credit. And this is the mission statement for Five Towns College in terms of their pursuits with the fine and performing arts, and why we've spoken to them in terms of their engagement. And that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lawrence. So as you can see, and this is just one example, as our coordinators look for opportunities for our students to be involved in poetry and essay writing and science and engineering, and now we have expanded our opportunities in the fine arts as well. So thank you for your presentation. Okay. So at this point in time, any questions from the board in regard to the district goals? I know you've had your homework. I gave you some homework assignments as I tried to craft the goals from your input. if there's any other questions. Okay. All right. Thank you. Now we'll move on to our next presentation. And I'm actually going to hand over this presentation to our own architect, Mr. John Grillo.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. For the last year or so, we've been looking at capital projects throughout the district in terms of putting together a possible bond referendum. So how we got here, really quickly. I was hired by the district last fall, about a year or so ago. Once I got on board, I reviewed the projects that were in the 2020 bond issue that ultimately was put on hold because of the COVID-19 pandemic. I reviewed the building condition survey, which is the nuts and bolts document. It's an infrastructure analysis. It looks at the roofs, the windows, the doors, the boilers in the school district. I met with the district staff. We toured the buildings, looked at all the potential projects, and we held several meetings with the Board of Education, and ultimately came down to an idea of a bond issue that really focuses on the high school, a place where all of the students come, look at one building, as well as district-wide security upgrades. So the proposed projects that are in the potential capital bond project. First one is the science labs. There are 14 science labs at the high school. All of them are original to the building. There's also prep rooms and offices and office space and storage space. The plan is to completely gut all 14 of those rooms, create 12 full-size science labs, as well as prep room, office space, and office space. Renovating the cafeterias and the kitchen. Right now you have cafeteria on either side, A and B, let's say. Kitchen is in the middle, so in order to go from one cafeteria to the other, you have to go out in the hallway to come back. By modifying the kitchen, pulling it back a little bit, we can get one big open space, similar to what we did here in another district. This cafeteria can now connect to the second cafeteria. Additionally, we'll look to add an outdoor eating space for the seniors, possibly in a nicer weather. They could take their food outside, eat in a nicer area outside, just not stuck inside the cafeteria. Renovating and replacing all of the corridor, classroom, and office doors not only at the high school, you'll see we're going to do it in every school in the district. We want to harden the doors. We want to make it harder for, God forbid, an intruder to get into the space, and we'll be able to lock down all of the spaces in a quicker manner. Over the years, the district has replaced a lot of their exterior doors. FEMA is also replacing some as part of what Victoria talked about before. This is to replace the remaining ones that aren't part of the FEMA upgrade or haven't been replaced so far in the past. A product that really needs no introduction, the bathrooms. They are original to the building. They will get a complete renovation. Asbestos abatement that's inside the walls will be removed. All the toilet fixtures, the ventilation, changing the plumbing around, providing handicap accessibility. As you can see, none of these bathroom stalls provide handicap accessibility. They will all be upgraded. There'll be 4 multi-stall bathrooms for the students on the first and second floor, as well as smaller adult bathrooms. This is the one right around the corner here on the men's side. They will be upgraded as well. So inside the main courtyard of the building, one of the 4 elevations, the windows were replaced in the past. The other 3, these are the original windows, 2-story curtain wall. We will look to replace all of those with a more energy-efficient window system. Additionally, to the next one here, these I'm going to tie back into the windows in a second. These big, ugly brown boxes are really probably one of the most important things in a school building. That provides your ventilation. It provides heating, but more importantly, it brings in mechanical fresh air ventilation. On the curtain wall, all of the piping is mounted to the curtain wall. So when we relocate and replace the window wall, we have to relocate all of that piping to put it onto the floor, not mount it onto the wall. That will all be done. As part of the upgrade to the HVAC system, all of the unit vents in the entire building will be replaced with ones that can provide heating, cooling, and mechanical fresh air ventilation. Additionally, all of the rooftop equipment on all of the larger spaces will be replaced and upgraded. And there are additional office spaces throughout the high school where the fresh air ventilation, it is by code, is opening a window. We want to look to improve those spaces and provide mechanical ventilation into all of those perimeter office spaces as well. These are the original lockers in the building. They were 7-inch wide. Not much can fit inside a 7-inch wide locker. The plan here would be to replace every one, and instead of a single tier 7-inch wide locker, we would go with double tier lockers, 15 inches wide, 36 inches high. Backpacks can finally fit in there, laptops, jackets, etc., etc. I'll show this slide at first. This is really the whole tennis area. We're looking to renovate 7 tennis courts, the handball court, the basketball court, which is here, renovation to the tennis building, as well as reconstruction of the parking lots. Here is the condition of the 7 existing tennis courts. They will be completely renovated down to the subbase, new drainage, new fencing, new netting. They will be properly pitched. We will unfortunately have to remove a couple of trees, but they are in desperate need to be removed. And this is the 7th court that's off to the side a little bit. All 7 will be completely renovated. Additionally, the entire parking lot, the curbs, the sidewalks, the drainage will all be upgraded. On some of the sidewalks here, there's a metal edge that's sticking up about an inch to inch and a half higher than the sidewalk. Big tripping hazard. We'll get rid of that as part of this upgrade. And we will improve this water fountain that's right there. This is the creepy tennis court building. We will renovate the bathrooms, the storage, there's office in there, replace the doors, give it a complete facelift, as well as improve the ventilation in the space. The handball court is in pretty good shape. We'll just be replacing the perimeter fencing, painting it. The wall itself is in good shape, and the surface is also in pretty good shape. We'll just do some cosmetic upgrades as part of that. All of the parking lots and curbs and sidewalks on the high school and administration building campus will be completely replaced. This is the condition of the main parking lot in front of the high school. You can see the patchwork that was done over the years. That'll all be upgraded and replaced. The athletic field, we call it the stadium field, the running track, and the grass field. The plan would be to structural spray the running track, redo the field events, and then the proposal will be put in synthetic turf in lieu of grass inside the stadium field. You'll be able to house all of the sports with the multiple lines. You have boys lacrosse, you have soccer, girls lacrosse, and football could all be played within this stadium field. These are other projects that we really didn't need photos for. Smoke doors at the top and bottom of the stairwells in the high school. Right now, the stairwell is open between the first and second floor, so if, God forbid, there's a fire, the smoke can travel from floor to floor. We want to cut that off and provide a 45-minute rating. Upgrade the building incoming electric service. If we're going to upgrade the ventilation, we have to upgrade the incoming electric service to handle the additional capacity. The administration parking lot. Upgrade and replace the entire public address system in the building. And then as well as what we talked about before, are all of the classroom and office doors in all of the other buildings in the district. So the total at the high school, the proposed projects at the high school are $29.2 million. And then the district-wide elementary and middle school door hardware replacement is $1.3 million. For a total proposal of $30,552,621. What does this cost in my pocket? What is the financial burden to the homeowner in Glen Cove? Right now, we know the project is going to take 3 years to complete, from start to finish. There'll be work going on a little bit at a time over those 3 years, but the intent is to be done by the end of the 25 calendar year. The finance is dictated by the construction cash flow needs, and the projects will be financed over a 15-year payback, which means we'll pay for the product over 15 years, and our building aid will come back over that same 15-year period. The tax impact will be phased over 2 or 3 years, and the district receives 33% building aid. So 33% of all of the money we spend will be paid for by the state. The taxpayer picks up the other 67%. So what does this mean to the individual person? Well, on your tax bill in Glen Cove, there says an assessed value. This one says $495,000. You grab your tax bill and you multiply it by a formula, so it's 0.25 per $1,000 of assessed value. 0.025, I'm sorry. Thanks, boss. So if your house is assessed at $600,000, you can multiply by 0.025 times 600, and that'll give you your tax for yourself would be $15 a month or $180 for the year. And I did a couple of examples here. If your house is assessed at $500,000, it'll be $150 a year, and I just went up to $800,000, and that's $240 a year. And again, this is a copy of the tax bill, just in case anybody that didn't know, it's that dollar figure right there that you take a look at. So again, the timeline, if there is a successful vote in December of '22, we will then sit down and get more of a detailed timeline in terms of what projects can be done in each year. A lot of times in a bond referendum, we live in a 9-week window. A lot of those projects have to get done in the summers. So we have to eat summer 23, 24, and 25. There are a few projects you can do during the school year, nights and weekends, perhaps the PA system, the doors could be replaced, some of those projects. But for the most part, the majority of the work is going to take place in the summers. So we have to also consider the state education department. So we as a school district submit our plans and specs to the state education department. Right now, the architects and engineers are up there. They're about a 10-week backlog, and the project managers that are falling behind there, they're about a 20-week backlog. So right now, we're looking at a 20-week lead time once we submit our plans and specs to the state education department. We then have to look at, we're still seeing tremendous supply chain issues. We're seeing 30 to 32-week backlog on mechanical equipment and over 40-week backlog on electrical equipment. So we have to tie that in and see where it's one thing to say we're going to get done in the summer of '23, but if we don't have an equipment till the summer of '24, we're going to balance out that timeline accordingly. We have to make sure we order all our surveys, do our utility markouts and soil borings. We have to perform asbestos and lead testing. Anything in a school, before we touch it, we have to make sure it has the presence of asbestos or lead. If that is the case, we have to design for that as part of the demolition project. And we'll begin the drawings on the phase 1 right away in the winter and work through the spring of '23. We want to start and get some of the quicker projects done in the summer of '23, finish up in the summer of '25 with our punch list and closeouts taking place in the fall of '25. And that is the presentation. Those are all the capital projects. And now I'll open it up to questions.
Can I just would like to ask a couple of questions. First off, I want to thank you so much for this presentation. I'm actually, all of us are very, very excited to see this and, to get done. I just want to make sure and clarify, I know that you said it, but it's very, very important for our taxpayers to understand that this will not be impacting the taxpayers until 2 to 3 years, correct?
You want to?
Should I ask all my questions at once?
No, wait,
Okay.
1 second. So Noah, why don't you come up? Victoria, you want to formally introduce Noah to?
Get a formal introduction.
So we don't make financial decisions alone at the district. I'm not that into finances and borrowing like that. We have a company called Munistat, who's our financial advisors. Noah here has been with that company. Are you a partner with the company? He's a partner with the company. I've worked with Noah in my former district also, so we go back quite a few years. And it's his expertise to help guide us through this process. So if we're only doing a certain amount of projects in the summer of '23, we are not going to go out and borrow the $30 million. We may go out and borrow $3 million. It may be a short-term borrowing called a ban. Meanwhile, that we have to pay it back, but it's probably we can get that at a lower interest rate. True? Okay, I'm learning. So Noah can answer your question from our board member.
Yeah, sure. Just to expand on that. So, yeah, I mean, she really didn't need me. I mean, that's pretty much it. We're going to borrow as we need it. I mean, it's going to be dictated by construction cash flow needs. So the first year we'll borrow that which we need to complete projects in that first year. The good thing about having a bond vote and this time of year is that we'll be able to do some things right away in June, versus if we had a bond vote in June, we might have to wait until a whole another year. But regardless, once projects are approved by the state, then we'll start borrowing, and it'll be dictated. A construction manager will tell us basically how much do we need, and how much do we reasonably expect to complete within the next year, and that's the amount that we'll borrow. So the impact will be phased in over time, over a 2 to 3 year period. So, the figures that we used in terms of the impact was when it's all said and done, but it's going to take 2 to 3 years to get there. The first year is probably going to be a fraction. Really just literally like maybe a tenth of that number. And then that second year, a majority, like a bell curve, it'll really start to ramp up in the ensuing year, and then we'll wrap it up in the last year. So over time, you'll probably get halfway there in the second year. But I think your question was, when you borrow the debt service, the principal interest payments are due the following year. So if we borrow at the end of 22-23, you'll see a little bit in 23-24, predominantly in 24-25. That's when you'll see the impact, and then finish up in 25-26.
Okay, just so I understand, and I know you said this before, but just to be clear, just to clarify, so not all of this money is going to be borrowed at once. It's going to be phased in as needed. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, any other questions from the board, or?
Sorry.
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
I think it's also important to clarify that you're saying we borrow as needed, but we can only borrow the amount of the bond.
Correct. I mean, you're asking
Okay.
the authorization not only
Right.
just to borrow, but to spend. I mean, so you can only borrow. I think you'll have, eventually you'll adopt a resolution. Bond counsel, as the attorney that kind of drafts the referendum, the legal language associated with, make sure you're doing everything right, publication requirements and all that. I'm sure, Bill will be attending one of the meetings when you take that next step.
On the 12th.
Okay, yeah, on the 12th. So, and at that point, he'll explain all that. I mean, you're basically asking for the authorization to borrow an amount not to exceed X, and you can't spend any more than that on the project.
Anything else?
Anyone else on the board have questions? Aiden, you have a question?
So you said some of the quicker projects